Here's what's coming up on Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris.
We all want more income when we're retired, and we also have paid into Social Security all these years, so we want to make sure that we get all of our Social Security benefits back out, right?
We're going to talk about a very special report that you have in your office. I know you've done it for hundreds, maybe over 1,000 families, individuals here in Tampa Bay, and it's called the Morris Report.
The stock market is the safest place for investors to put their money. True or false?
Mark, that's false. You know, when you put your money in the stock market has unlimited upside potential, but remember, it's got unlimited downside potential.
I was wondering how much of a big difference there is if I take Social Security at full retirement as to early Social Security.
Terry, I've always recommended that people wait as long as they can to take their Social Security.
And now the host of Retirement Talk, Sandy Morris.
Welcome to the show today. We have 30 minutes worth of action-packed information designed specifically for you. So Retirement Talk starts right here, right now. On today's show, we're going to talk about Social Security optimization and how important it is in your overall retirement plan when it comes to retirement income. Because let's face it, we all want more income when we're retired. And we also have paid into Social Security all these years, so we want to make sure that we get all of our Social Security benefits back out, right? So this is a scenario of a couple, Michael and Sharon. And this is the income that they get from Social Security at age 62, which is a total of $30,540. Now, they want to retire at 65, and they need $80,000 worth of income. So when they retire at 65, they're going to need $80,000, but we're going to show you how to push the Social Security off till age 70, not meaning that you don't take some of your Social Security benefits, but what you're going to take are spousal benefits instead of your own benefits. So when you go to where you could get interest and income, when it comes to your investments, you're going to go to one of three places typically. If you go to a bank, you're looking at getting about 1% off of your money. So if you have $1 million, that's about $10,000 in income a year. If you go to Wall Street and you take more risk with your money and you get about a 4% return on your income, you're going to get about $40,000 a year. If you go to where you can get your income insured, that's going to pay out a little higher return, about 5.5%. That's also going to be guaranteed for life. So you don't have to worry about ever running out of income if you get your income over here and it's insured. So on $1 million, that's $55,000 worth of income. So Michael and Sharon are going to start taking their income at 62, but they're not going to start their retirement income. They're not going to tap into their Social Security. What we're going to do is, because we get a 5.5% return and because we're going to maximize their Social Security and get $60,000 a year instead of $30,000 a year, what we now can do is take $700,000, put it in an insured account that will pay $38,000 worth of interest, guaranteed for life. We're going to get $60,000 at age 70, which takes their income to $98,000. Now remember, they've only used $700,000 worth of their nest egg. So what we're going to do to fill the gap between 65 and 70 is there's an additional $300,000 here. So we take that $300,000 from age 65 to 69, because they start getting their income at 70. $80,000 a year is what they need. That's 4 years worth of income. That's $320,000. This $300,000 pays most of that, and this $20,000 is going to come from spousal income. So your income, if you maximize your Social Security, they have doubled their income. But most importantly, their income, their Social Security income is going to increase based on Consumer Price Index, which means that they're going to stay ahead of inflation when it comes to their Social Security. So if you want to get a Social Security optimizations report and see how it plays a role in your overall picture when it comes to your retirement income, give our office a call, or you can visit us on our website, and it literally takes just a few minutes to run a Social Security optimizations report.
You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's retirement television.
Having no clear retirement plan is a mistake I see a lot in my financial planning office when I meet with someone new. It's extremely rare that someone comes in and has a clearly defined income plan for his or her retirement. Now, one way you can get a clearly defined retirement income plan is to talk to an independent financial advisor who specializes in retirement planning, not someone who specializes in getting you to retirement, but someone who's dedicated to get you through your retirement. So if you don't have a clear retirement plan, then be one of the first 5 callers and you'll receive a free, complete planning review. There's no obligation and there's no cost if you've saved at least $250,000 for retirement. Here's what you'll receive: a free report to sort through your current advisor's cost, a tailored plan to guard your investments, a tax analysis to reduce the liability and increase your cash flow, and a custom income plan to boost your retirement. Plus, you'll receive a budget assessment to help manage your cash flow. So call now for your free, no obligation financial review.
You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's retirement television. All right, Sandy, we got a 3-parter. This is part 1 this week. We're going to talk about a very special report that you have in your office. I know you've done it for hundreds, maybe over 1,000 families, individuals here in Tampa Bay, and it's called the Morris Report. And Steve, I'm going to start out with you to start to tell us what this is. And part 1 of this is called Current Costs and Risk Report. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Mark, this report, what it'll do is we'll take all your investments you have, and then we'll run a report on it showing any fees that you might be paying or any advisory costs you might be paying as well. Plus what we'll do is we can stress test the portfolio as well, which based on, if interest rates rise, if any kind of political things happen, anything like that, it's basically going to stress test the portfolio and show what kind of effect that'll have on your overall, and show you the risk as well.
I'm gonna take a big stinking guess right now and say that for the vast majority of people that come in and you do this report for them, how many say, I already knew that?
No,
yeah.
That doesn't happen.
No,
yeah.
that doesn't
no,
happen.
never, never.
Everyone that I talk to, it's so eye-opening, all this great information. Sandy, do you also find that to be the case?
I love this part of when people come into the office and I give them this report and I go over it with them and they get very quiet. They just keep looking at it and they go, how did you get this? I didn't know that. What's this? And they start picking it apart, trying to find out, why did they not know this? And yeah, I love it.
It's kind of, I know in speaking with other advisors, that whole concept of, when you go to the doctor, sometimes they say, okay, put on this gown, and you don't feel very comfortable in that moment, right?
Yeah.
Here's that sort of put on the
They're
gown
not very
moment,
comfortable at that moment.
right?
That's
that,
true.
oh boy, there is a problem, and I do need to take action about that.
Well, the nice part about it is when I get the report, I'm just as shocked because I don't know. Until I get that report back, I don't know what they're paying. I can't just look at something and tell them. I can't look at their statement and say, oh, here's your costs, because they're just embedded in there.
Well, so let me ask you this. What's the cost on this? So I want to call up right now, and if anyone wants to call the numbers here on the screen, how much does it cost? I mean, is this thousands of dollars for me to come into the office?
No,
or?
some people will charge you that. Some financial advisors will actually charge you for this whole report, the 3-part segment, kind of like what I do. They'll charge you several hundred and some up to a couple $1,000s for a report like this.
But if I get it through your financial advisory firm, what am I looking at?
It's part of the Sandy Morris report, so there's no cost, no obligation.
No cost, no obligation.
No.
That's awesome. Absolutely awesome.
It is.
So tell me more about that report.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it'll break down all your fees and costs. So like Sandy said, it kind of opens people's eyes to what they're actually paying inside their investments. And the stress test is really where it opens people's eyes, because like I said, if interest rates rise, if China doesn't, if their GDP slows down, something like that, it'll actually show what kind of effect that would have on your individual portfolio.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute, because it would seem to me, once I go into retirement, okay, I no longer have an incoming check from where I work, that inflation might be that kind of that number one item that I'm looking at. Are there things like that people should also be aware of besides inflation that you might be able to do when you do that stress test?
Of course. You know, we call inflation the silent killer because the retirement silent killer because you don't see it happening. So that's very important to point out inflation. But another thing you can point out is, I mean, let's face it, if you're not getting the income that you need in retirement, and that's what retirees want, we all want more income. You know, it could be just right in that cost analysis, that fee analysis. I mean, if you're looking for an extra 4 or 5% return on your account, that could be where that's going.
I'll give you a great example, Mark. Crude oil. People didn't know the price of oil was going to drop the oil companies, the drillers, all those places. So people holding those stocks in their portfolios, the actual oil companies, the drilling companies, all that, they lost a ton of money when that happened. If you'd stress test the portfolio, that's one of the things it'll show crude oil prices dropping by that much and how it would have impacted your portfolio.
So do you have like a series of things that you will sort of examine for someone that this could happen? Part one. And listen, here's the second part of this. Let's say I'm already 5 years into retirement. Is it too late for me to get a stress test?
No. This is a 12-page report. No, you need this. I don't care when you are. You need this report. This report helps to not bulletproof, but it makes you aware.
Peace of mind, maybe.
Well, it brings your awareness level up.
Because people are concerned. Listen, I'm not working anymore. I'm in retirement. I can't have this thing going up and down and up and down. I need to know what those red flags are going to be in the future.
Yes, you need to know.
All right, folks, if you want to get yourself a Morris report, it's real simple. Just call the number on the screen or go to the website. They'd love to put it together for you. You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's Retirement Television. You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's Retirement Television.
It's your retirement. How will you live it? How will you be remembered?
Will you be able to take me on vacation?
Will you be there for my ball games?
Will you teach me your values? You'll be able to play with me.
Oh, help me go to college. How will I remember you?
Have the retirement you dream about. SandyMorrisFinancial.com.
You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's Retirement Television.
Hi, and welcome to this week's Retirement True or False. I'm here as usual with Sandy and Steve. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
All right, let's get started. My first question will be to you, Steve, and it's the stock market is the safest place for investors to put their money. True or false?
Mark, that's false. You know, when you put your money in the stock market has unlimited upside potential, but remember, it's got unlimited downside potential. So there's always the risk of losing all your money. So definitely not the safest place you can put your money.
Especially if you're going to retire or you're near the retirement years. You know, you hear about the Rule 100. You take 100 minus your age, and that's how much money that typically you want to keep safe. And the difference, so if you're 60 years old, you want 60% of your money safe. You want 40% you can have at risk. But if you're within, say, 5 years of retiring, you've got to gauge that risk so that it's more conservative. And you know, the truth of the matter is, you don't have to put your money in the stock market these days to get a nice return on your money. You know, that cliche it's over. It doesn't exist anymore. I've got clients that have money in safe, guaranteed accounts, sleep at night accounts. They're barely taking hardly any risk. And because they've not had losses over all these years, they made way more money than people in the stock market.
Slow and steady wins the race?
You got it. You got it.
All right, my next question is for you, Sandy. And it is, fixed indexed annuities are an insurance product and they are not tied to the stock market. True or false?
False. Fixed indexed annuities are tied to the stock market. So basically what you have is your money's not in the market. They're just using stock market indexes like the S&P or the Dow or the NASDAQ, or sometimes they'll blend the indexes together. And they have these calculations where they either take a snapshot of the index once a month, and at the end of the year, they take a snapshot of the index once a month, and they cap you as to how much you can make per month. So let's say that the market went up 4% one month. Well, you might only get 2 of that. So they go through the whole year, they calculate the gains like that, and at the end of the year, they take the minuses from the pluses, and that's the interest that you get. Your money's not in the stock market, it's just being calculated on an index.
Yeah, remember you're linked into the market, but you're not directly invested in the market where you can lose principal.
That's how you can lock in the gains and not have the losses.
Great. My next question is for you, Steve, and that is, the stock market will remain volatile for the foreseeable future, true or false?
Easy one. That's definitely true. You know, Mark, everything is tied in now. We're globally tied in with everything. So, I mean, I think personally that the stock market will stay volatile from this point on. It's kind of like that adage, you know, the butterfly flaps his wings over in Japan, the stock market crashes over here. It's what happens now.
Well, you know, more importantly, almost any press release, any talk of interest rates, any talk of any type of economic change pretty much now, we have what's called emotional sell-offs. And if you're in the stock market, you get caught up in that. So, you know, let's face it, people don't watch TV because they want to hear good news. They watch TV because they want to hear drama. And so when you've got 10 to 12,000 baby boomers retiring every day and they fear that their life savings is going to be affected at all, you know, they hit the kill switch. And if you're in those types of investments that affects, it affects you as well. So the key is you don't get caught up in that in the first place.
My next question, Sandy, will be for you. And that's, banks are the best place to keep your money safe, true or false?
That could be true or it could be false, okay? Banks are a good safe place to put your money. But you have to also remember, it wasn't the government that bailed out the banks in the Great Depression. It was the insurance companies. So insurance companies, and we're talking about insurance companies being regulated, meaning the ones that have life insurance, they need to pay the death benefits, the whole life insurance companies, the companies that have the fixed annuities, the hybrid annuities. They're regulated and they have to make sure that they can pay out that money no matter what happens. So on the tier of safety, you have insurance companies, then you have banks.
And I would say banks, you know, if you're at any one bank, I'd say don't go over the FDIC limit of $250,000 because in 2008, several banks failed.
They did. They did. And I knew some people that actually lost money and banks gone.
I've got time for one more question, Steve, and I'm going to send this over to you. 1 out of 2 seniors will require long-term care, true or false?
Definitely true. We've seen several financial publications talking about that 1 in 2 will require long-term care at some time in their life. So it's definitely true.
But you know what is where the most money is spent out of pocket is you don't just get sick and go into a nursing home, or you don't just get sick and now I need long-term care. It's the space and the time before you go into the nursing home that is the most expensive, because it's when you need someone to come into the home and help take care of yourself or help take care of your spouse, and those are out of pocket dollars. So that's where the real cost comes in.
Sandy, Steve, thanks so much. Stick around, we got a lot of great stuff to come.
You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's retirement television.
Having no clear retirement plan is a mistake I see a lot in my financial planning office when I meet with someone new. It's extremely rare that someone comes in and has a clearly defined income plan for his or her retirement. Now, one way you can get a clearly defined retirement income plan is to talk to an independent financial advisor who specializes in retirement planning, not someone who specializes in getting you to retirement, but someone who's dedicated to get you through your retirement. So if you don't have a clear retirement plan, then be one of the first 5 callers and you'll receive a free, complete planning review. There's no obligation and there's no cost if you've saved at least $250,000 for retirement. Here's what you'll receive: a free report to sort through your current advisor's costs, a tailored plan to guard your investments, a tax analysis to reduce the liability and increase your cash flow, and a custom income plan to boost your retirement. Plus, you'll receive a budget assessment to help manage your cash flow. So call now for your free, no obligation financial review.
You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's retirement television.
At this stage of my life, I would like to know, how much, if any, is it necessary to have of life insurance?
Joanne, that's a really good question. I have a lot of people actually ask me that question. And typically, people have life insurance for a couple, 2 or 3 reasons. If you're going to leave someone behind that when you pass away, part of their income is going to be affected by the loss of your income, then typically you want to have life insurance that if something happens to you, they're going to get that death benefit, and they're going to be able to either take that death benefit and use it to pay bills, or they can put it in something that can generate income for them. Or if you're gonna, when you pass away, you and your spouse, or when you pass away, you're gonna leave a tax burden behind where the IRS is gonna come in and step in and take a portion of your assets, meaning like IRAs or something like that. You'll wanna make sure that the person left behind has been compensated for those taxes that the IRS is gonna take. So that is on a case-by-case basis. So probably if you really want to know exactly how much insurance that you need, life insurance that you need, you probably need to get some consulting with someone who can actually help you without the exact dollar amount about that. Thank you for your question. That's a good one.
When do you think the stock market is going to rebound, if it is, or will it go down more?
The stock market's either going up or it's going down. It's never still, that's for sure. And there are some things that you can do, some accounts that you can use. And that if you're worried about the stock market going down and losing a lot of money, first of all, if you have an investment, you know, you can put a stop limit on your stocks or your investments to where if they reach a certain level, they go below a certain level, it stops so you don't lose any additional funds. You can also use accounts like hybrid annuities and things like that where you can take advantage of the gains of the market, but if the market goes down, it doesn't take back what you've already made. It locks in your gains every year. So if you're in a situation where you're really vulnerable in the market and you want some help with minimizing those losses, just give our office a call. We'd be happy to help you put some limits on that, or put you in some accounts that would give you a little better peace of mind and still give you some growth.
I was wondering how much of a big difference there is if I take Social Security at full retirement as to early Social Security. Would it be a big economic loss for me?
Terry, I've always recommended that people wait as long as they can to take their Social Security, because if you take it before full retirement, you're only going to get about 75% of what you would normally get at 70. If you wait till 70 to take it, you get 132% of your Social Security.
What's a good percentage of our investment for the future?
Pedro, I think what you're asking me is how much should you save and put in investments for your future? And if that's the question, you know, it's a case-by-case basis. It depends on how much that you have. Typically, we recommend that you save 15% a year. You know, you might not can do that. You may can only do 10% a year, but I will tell you what's most important, and it is that you do this on a consistent basis versus it being fragmented. And one year you save 5%, the next year 10%, and then you don't save any one year. It's better to save a smaller amount and be more consistent than to have that fragmentation going on in your savings. I want to talk to you a minute about compounding, because we all know the power of compounding, but we've gotten away from it and we've not thought about it in a while, probably. We all learned when we went to grade school about compounding, and if you a penny a day doubled every day for 30 days and how much money that is. But as we've gotten older, I hardly ever hear anybody talk about it anymore, but it's one of the most powerful tools that you can use when you're getting ready to retire or you're trying to grow money. And there's a gentleman by the name of Burton Malkiel, and he is actually one of the creators and founders of mutual funds. And he tells a story about 2 brothers that are both age 66. One brother had started putting money, $4,000 a year, in a tax-free account, and he did it for 20 years. He'd put a total of $80,000 in his account. Then he stopped. The other brother started at age 40. When the other brother stopped, and he started putting $4,000 a month in his account, but he did it for 25 years. He put a total of $100,000 in his account. So when they were 66 years old, the brother that started putting the money in when he was 20, and he put it in for 20 years and stopped, had 25 years worth of compounding. His account value at 66 was $2.5 million. He only put in $80,000. The other brother, who didn't get to take advantage of having that lump sum compound over a period of time. He just put his $4,000 in a year, every year. He did it for 25 years instead of 20. So he put a total of $100,000 in 25 years. But his account value at 66 was only worth $400,000. So you got compounding, put in $80,000 over 20 years, $2.5 million. And that versus $400,000. That's a 600% increase. So if you're within 3, 5, or 10 years, most definitely, of retiring and you want to get your money to grow, stop playing in the stock market. Just get your money to have really good gains consistently over a period of time and watch that money grow and compound, and you don't have to worry about having the stock market stress. It doesn't work for everyone, but let compounding be on your side and be like the other brother who took advantage of time, because you have time on your hands if you've got 5 to 10 years before you're going to retire.
You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's retirement television.
Remember when life was simpler? When things didn't move quite so fast and the world didn't seem so complex? Remember that? We do. And as the world around us has continued to speed up, becoming more complicated and still a bit uncertain, we have managed to keep things simple, providing sound, easy-to-understand financial advice and customized roadmaps for the road ahead, from tax reduction strategies, investment advice, and guaranteed retirement income you cannot outlive, backed by the claims-paying ability of insurance companies. We can be your single point of contact, a single call, a voice you recognize well, and a partner who can be by your side for the entire journey. We can't stop the world around us, but we can help ensure you're prepared for what's to come. To schedule a no-obligation meeting, simply contact us today.
It's your retirement. How will you live it? How will you be remembered?
Will you be able to take me on vacation?
Will you be there for my ball games?
Will you teach me your values? You'll be able to play with me.
Oh, help me go to college. How will I remember you?
Have the retirement you dream about. SandyMorrisFinancial.com.
You're watching Retirement Talk with Sandy Morris, Tampa Bay's retirement television.
Well, thanks everyone for watching the show today. And if you have any questions, feel free to call our office or visit our website. And remember, you only retire once, so let's get it right the first time. We'll see you next week.